Thanks, listeners, for joining us for today's Elko Live here on KELK. Hard to believe it's rolled around already again, but here we are, the first Friday of a brand new month, and that means we visit with our friends from your public lands, the Bureau of Land Management, Elko District. We have specialists here in studio to talk about the exciting season ahead. Clint Mothershed is our fire mitigation education fire trespass investigation specialist. Cheryl Miller's here from California Trail Interpretive Center. She does a little bit of everything at the Trail Center, which we really appreciate, Cheryl. And Clint, we're going to start with you because today's the day that fire restrictions are being lifted, but it does come with a lot of caveats, right?
Yes, good morning. Good afternoon. Thanks for having me on. It does. So before we get into that, I just want to touch on the weather. We got our new 4-month outlook from our coordination center with our own meteorologists, and it's looking like what we're experiencing now might kind of be the way it's going to go through November potentially. Off and on, we'll get a storm here and there, and I think as we roll later on into the fall, we could expect to see and hope to see more storms. But right now, it's going to be a little bit above average temperatures and below average precipitation expected to be received, with maybe a little reprieve here in a couple weeks. But right now, they're saying the modeling is conflicting, and so they're not really telling us to brace for anything major or substantial. So it might just be a cell or two rolling through the area at some point around maybe 18th to the 20th of the month. So so we're still bracing. We did go out of fire restrictions. We do have a plan that we have science built into it, and we are below those thresholds, and that's why we decided it was a good time to go out of them. But right now, nationally, we're at a planning level 3, and within our coordination area, we're also at a 3, and the highest it goes to is 5, which doesn't necessarily mean that we're out of the woods yet. It just means that the potential for large destructive fires and a large number of them occurring is going down. That being said, you can look out your door, your window, your windshield, whatever it is, and you can see that we're really extremely dry, and it is still pretty warm. I think over the next 10 days, it's going to trend down to the low 70s for a high, but it is hunting season. So that being said, a lot of people are probably going to go out starting tomorrow and do hunting if they're not already out there. So with that being said, please stay off of roads that have a lot of grass built up in the middle. Certain model of vehicles, they tend to, it's basically they chop off the grass heads and it gets tucked up by their exhaust. And we've had fires in the past that were fairly destructive and fairly expensive due to that. So we are asking for that. Other than that, as far as the fire preparedness stuff goes, we don't have a lot, but I did want to talk about it again because it's such a valuable resource, and it's alertwest.live, and it's our mountaintop cameras. They just put in a new one on top of the Dolly Varden range. Civilians aren't really allowed to do anything but other than view it, but fire personnel and I do have access to move the camera if needed. We do move it when we get a fire report, and those cameras have artificial intelligence in them, so they actually tell us when there's a fire. And there's a couple guys at UNR that review the data before they send it to us. But usually someone will have the camera pointed at the fire by the time the public is aware, beyond our dispatching window. So it's a very awesome resource. And it's alertwest.live online. If you do need to report a fire, if you see one, if you beat the artificial intelligence, just dial 911 or 775-748-4000. Before you report, I said this last month as well, gather your thoughts, be clear and concise. Where are you? What direction are you heading? Are you facing? And if you don't, it's not uncommon for the public not to really know their cardinal directions. So which way are you heading, and what window are you looking out of? Or if you do know your bearings, how far away, and in what direction would the fire be? So, because
you were on the dispatch end.
I spent about 10 years in there.
Yeah, but so you know what it's like when someone calls and they're frantic, right, Clint?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Yeah, it happened numerous times. So, but usually you can walk through it with the person and get the information. It delays us getting the resources out the door to go suppress the fire. So,
And it is helpful, parents, if you can walk through this kind of information with your kids too, right? So that they know their address, all the important information, right? So if they have to get an emergency vehicle to their address.
Absolutely, yeah. It's always a good thing. I think growing up with the rotary dial phone, I think I knew how to use that thing when I was probably 5 years old, and I knew how to at least call my grandma, so I'd call her all the time just to say hi. But that's very important, yes. So there's so many different things that could happen where a young kid could use that kind of help and request that kind of assistance. So I think it's extremely important.
Yeah, so good idea to go over that and just the basics, like you said, the address. And we made up a little song for Olivia. She'd probably be mortified that I was telling you this, but when she was little, so she could sing a little song that gave her full name and her address and on, right?
Oh, that's cool.
In case she ever got lost or something, but
mnemonics are great things.
Yep, emergency. So thank you for that, Clint.
Yep.
And not to interrupt all the things, but we have a red flag warning today, or is it expired now?
No, as far as I know, I checked a couple hours ago, and it was still in effect. Yeah. So it just means it's hot. It's going to be
dry, windy.
The relative humidity will be low, and we're going to have some wind. So definitely, if you're out in the hills today listening to this, stay on the roads. Be careful with whatever you may be doing. Just keep in the back of your mind that possibly what you are doing could start a wildfire. So that would make everybody happy, because the fire crews, they've been pulling some long days, so they're ready to get back to their own civilian life and kind of get to enjoy weekends and getting off before 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock at night. So yeah, it'd be much appreciated. So getting into fire restrictions, which is what we were talking about at the beginning, Lori. Yes, Elko District did rescind their fire restrictions, and essentially those were limiting the public from being able to have campfires wherever they wanted to. As long as you were in a fee-paying site, it was okay to have an open carbon-based type fire with wood or whatever. But now we are allowing for fires to be at dispersed sites, with the caveats that the public clears around the area, watches the winds, doesn't get crazy with their fire, and if they do leave their campsite to go scouting or whatever it may be, go have fun up in the hills, to fully suppress it. And that just means put some water on it, stir it with your shovel, do it again, and just keep doing that until it's cool to the touch on the back of your hand. Never use your fingerprint part of your hand. You'll just be burning them, but the back of the hand is what firefighters do. They can feel the heat on it, and when they're out there trying to get hot spots on the fire line. Also, you can now smoke outside on public land, so it's always a worry to us on these like red flag type days where someone will smoke, throw their cigarette out, and you definitely have the right conditions, that low humidity, the wind, to keep that cigarette going. It might take a little bit to smolder before it takes off. It may not do anything, but we do get them. It does happen. It's one of those things that we have to be aware of and warn the public about. So on top of that, one of the big ones is parking on top of dried grass while off-roading. So that's pretty self-explanatory. Your exhaust can be extremely hot. If you have a diesel, it could regen, which really raises the temperature of the exhaust system. And it doesn't take a lot for cellulose material or carbon-based material to ignite. It's about 440 degrees. You could also have numerous things, overworked brakes, who knows. But just find a pull-out spot when you want a glass and look for wildlife or whatever you may be doing. Just don't, we're not encouraging boonie stomping at all. So that is actually still kind of a taboo thing. Just stay on established roads and trails, be aware of what you're doing. And if you do park to go on a hike or whatever, when you do park your vehicle, look underneath it and see if you're parked on some grass or something. And if you are, you might want to move your vehicle or do something to remedy the potential for a fire to start.
Yep, these are some of the top causes of fire in Elko County. I mean, Mother Nature does her share with the lightning strikes.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So we just and then I'll finish up these first, and then the last one is welding or operating a acetylene torch. We actually had a fire this year earlier in the spring where they were building a fence, welding their H braces, and they started a fire. So it is one of those things we annually go out of just to prevent that. And then on top of that, you could have field repairs on equipment. A lot of the industry here is out in the rural or out in the wide open, and stuff does break down. It's rugged country, and people do field maintenance all the time. And using your grinder creates sparks, your welder creates slag, cutting torch, self-explanatory. So, you can now do that, but again, be careful. Have a fire extinguisher there. pay attention, hang out in the area once you're done for just a little bit to make sure it isn't smoldering, because it can get into the root base of the plants, of the grass, and kind of smolder there, and you really wouldn't know anything's going on. So, but we do unfortunately still have some that are in effect, and this is statewide with the BLM. And the first one centers around ammunition. So using incendiary or tracer rounds, which you can find online, or steel component ammunition. And that's the good deals you find online, where you can buy a bunch of ammo in bulk. You save a bunch of money. Unfortunately, it's steel component. It means it's either steel jacketed or it's got steel inside of it. And studies have been done, and what happens is that bullet will strike a hard object. It could be a rock. You might be shooting at something metallic. It might be part of a lot of steel plates. We had a fire 3 weeks ago that was in an area we knew there was shooting going on. We actually went up there and took the target out. It was a steel plate target, and then a month and a half later we ended up having a fire in that exact same area. So and it had a rocky backdrop, so not sure if they had a steel plate that they pulled up and left, or if they just shooting and they shot at a rock, and it's just the kinetic energy and the flaking of it. And it might take, like I said earlier, 15 minutes for something to smolder before it actually takes flame. But it's just evidence. And that was in a canyon with a creek and a stream in it. So the humidities, and it started later in the day and it burned throughout the night. Even with those humidities, that just tells us that we're not out of the woods yet as far as fire potential goes. So, and then the other one is obviously exploding targets. The manufacturers tell you that they can't start fires. But where they did their testing, sure. They didn't do their testing in the Great Basin. Let's just put it that way. With our fine fuel loading and everything else, those things will start fires. Obviously, fireworks are prohibited, and just one of those things that we usually have to worry around the 4th of July, not so much this time of year, but just want the public to be aware that they are still in effect. And Elko County, I believe that they're out of their burn ban, so you can go back to open burning.
Oh, you can? Okay.
I tried to give the chief a call. I didn't. He wasn't available, so I wasn't sure. I got on their website. You can apply for one, and so if you do have some stuff you want to burn around your house, there is a lot of caveats, but it's a pretty easy process. You go to Elko County Fire's website and you go through it. And I'm sure within that part, you have to agree to a lot of stipulations. You're going to have a hose, you're going to have a fire extinguisher, you're going to have a shovel or something handy. You are going to be present. If the winds are over a certain range, which I think probably 10 miles an hour, you're not allowed to do it. You can only burn between 6 and 10 or noon in the morning. So there's a lot still to it that they make the public adhere to. So if you get on there, you apply for it, and then you may or may not be allowed to, but I think that they are out of their burn restrictions too.
Okay. So yeah, check it out on Elko County Fire, it's Elko County NV.net, and then go to the fire district page?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good.
So,
okay.
And then I think at the state parks are out of their fire restrictions too. So that means, and the Forest Service as well. So things are looking up and up for hunters and fall-time recreators.
Oh, good.
Yep.
So that's all good news. Again, just reminding everyone to be extremely careful with anything that could spark that fire. And then we all get to look forward to seeing you at some fun events, right, Clint?
Yeah. I might still be hunting for the Nevada Day Parade, which is October 25th at 10.
Well, I hope you're lucky and can get back soon, because it's going to be a great parade.
I usually don't have that kind of luck, but I appreciate the well wishes.
Yes, yes.
So, we'll have that. That'll be the downtown corridor. It begins at 10 a.m. It's a pretty fun event. And then I don't want to steal Cheryl's thunder, so I won't. There's another event that's pretty exciting that's going to be happening at the California Trails Interpretive Center on October 26th.
Way to celebrate Nevada Day and the spooky season, too. So yes. Awesome, Clint. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Well, we'll come back to Clint Mothershed, obviously, if we need anything else or we have any questions. But we appreciate all the fire information, Clint, for today's broadcast. And now we're going to switch over to Cheryl, who has been waiting patiently, as she always does. Cheryl, thank you for being here today. And we get to wrap up with you and all the exciting news about October and the California Trail Interpretive Center.
So glad to be here today, Lori. Thanks again for having me. This is the best half hour of my month.
Oh, you're too kind. I can't imagine that with all the fun you have at the center and with your colleagues and all the guests. Wow, that's great.
It's always a good time with you, Lori, and especially with Clint. He always makes it fun up in here. So
Yes, definitely, Clint. Thank you. And again, great BLM crew. A lot happening on our public lands. And California Trail Interpretive Center is this amazing resource. It is located just 8 miles west of Elko. You take I-80. You're out there. I mean, you can get there quicker than you can get to, the east or west side of town practically with today's traffic woes. So zip on out, just 8 miles, take the Hunter exit. And all this stuff, most of what we talk about, Cheryl, is going to be free admission, free programs, and free activities.
Absolutely. Everything is free unless we note it, and we try and keep everything free. And one thing that's really important to point out is that we just went into our winter hours. So we will start to be closed on Monday and Tuesday every week, but we will be open Wednesday through Sunday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day. And don't forget, we have a fabulous hiking trail out there. It's just over a mile long, gets you some really beautiful views. And so if you're looking for a nice place to walk, you can always head out there to the trail center for that.
Oh, you can use the trail even if the center's closed?
We close the gates at 5:30, so
Okay,
just be a daytime thing.
Okay, that sounds good. Just wanted to make sure that people know. But that is a nice, easy trail. You have a lot of accessibility around the center itself. So
Yes, it is an accessible trail, and it does get you up high, but it's very gradual and has some great signage to interpret the landscape around you.
Perfect. So what's this I see at the top about a grand opening of a new exhibit?
We are so excited. So this is my first new exhibit that I've been involved with at the Trail Center. So it's near and dear to my heart. And what we've done is we've replaced the store where everyone would come in and buy stickers and magnets and those sorts of things with a new interactive exhibit. So the new interactive exhibit is called Porter and Sawyer Trading Company, named after two of the founding fathers of the Trail Center. And it is set up as a mercantile where visitors can come in. I prepared some shopping lists. They can come in, look at all the items, prepare their shopping list for their journey on the trail, and then they come up to us at the front desk and we let you know how you did on the trail based on your choices. And some people have already been running through it. It's not actually very easy to make all the right choices on the trail. And so if you come up and give it a try, we'll give you some feedback. And we also have a brand new suite of Pioneer clothes out for people to try on. So we've got kids' clothes, women's clothes, men's clothes, cool hats, and that sort of thing. So those have all been moved up to the front in the store area. So we're really excited for some of the locals to come out and give it a try, give us some feedback. Let's see how you do on the trail. And some of our locals are just so knowledgeable that I think they could come in and give me some really good feedback on things that we're missing or ways that we can improve. So you're all invited to come out and try out the new Porter and Sawyer Trading Company and see how you do on the trail. And another new exciting development for those scavenger hunt fans, our rangers have hidden the scavenger hunt elephants in totally new places, and they're totally new elephants. So if you have gotten your junior ranger sticker from doing our scavenger hunt, you need to come out again and do the scavenger hunt again because it is new and improved and super challenging. I don't even think Clint could find all of the elephants that Ranger Evie hid all over the center.
I probably couldn't.
You probably couldn't. Okay, Clint, because we'll put you to the test. I'd like to see you do some Pioneer shopping as well. Is it going to be a bolt of fabric or a pickaxe? What are you going to choose to put in that wagon, right? Okay.
Heck yeah, Clint. We're going to run you through the gamut and see how much you remember from your 4th grade history.
I played Oregon Trail. I should be all right.
All right. And I watched Little House on the Prairie and Dr. Quinn, medicine woman person. Yes.
So you're all experts.
Yes,
come on in.
All right. What fun. What a great new exhibit, interactive. It's nice to see things changed up a little bit. I mean, we love the exhibits. We love the center. But boy, I just got the chills thinking about Dale Porter and Paul Sawyer and how proud they would be to have their names on something like that, Cheryl. So thank you.
Yeah, we're so happy to honor them, and we're just so excited to have a new exhibit for people to interact with. So please come on out, give us your feedback, and help us improve it.
All right, perfect. Talking with Cheryl Miller from California Trail Interpretive Center. Sounds like great photo ops, by the way, to go out, put on some Pioneer clothing and take your photos out there. So
absolutely, you can go pose with your family actually in front of a real wagon. We've got one from the 1800s that's outside that people can visit anytime, come do a photo shoot, whatever they'd like.
Oh, nice. And again, this is all brought to you by your public lands, the Elko District Bureau of Land Management. So proud that we can really participate in this. We're stewards of this project. We help to build it. It's part of our community, our local history, Cheryl. So thanks for being such a great steward and continuing this amazing journey west with this new opening. Then you've got some, as you talked about Junior Ranger Day, some new activities coming up this month.
Oh my gosh, we have so many activities. Get your pencil ready. Start writing them down because we've got so much cool stuff going on. And it all starts actually tomorrow. At 1 p.m., we have story time and craft Saturday. We will be reading an excerpt from Patty Reed's doll and then making an actual rag doll or 2 or 3. You know, I think people should be ambitious about their rag doll making. It's a wonderful program. We have adults that come out. We have kids that come out. We have whole families that come out. But the really fun part is being in a community, making your doll, picking out all the fabrics, and giving it a little bit of personality. And of course, as Lori already said, this program is free and you can leave with your own rag doll 2 or 3, depending on how many you want to make tomorrow.
That's so nice. They would make sweet little presents or stocking stuffers, dare I say.
Oh my gosh, such a good idea, Lori. I hadn't even thought of that. I need to run in and make a few now.
Yes, I think anyone would love to get a sweet little gift of a handmade rag doll, just like the pioneers made along the California Trail. So that's at 1 o'clock.
That's at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Come on out.
Thank you, Cheryl, for that. And then we'll just keep going right down the list. You've got all kinds of amazing things, as you said, a whole month worth of activities.
That's right. We better hurry up. So the next activity is going to be on October 12th. That's a Saturday. So Saturday, October 12th at 1 p.m. And we're going to be doing spatter painting. And I checked in with Macy, who is running this program right before I left. And she told me that this is actually a traditional pioneer craft. So what they would do is they would take an object, put it down on a piece of paper or whatever medium they wanted to paint, and then they would spatter the paint around and then pick the object back up, and you have a really cool outline of whatever that object is. And Macy is going to use leaves as part of the template that you'll use and part of the shapes, of course, to go with fall colors. And I don't know if you guys have been up in Lamoille Canyon recently.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh. It was my first fall up in Lamoille Canyon, and my eyes almost couldn't take all the beauty. It is so beautiful up there right now. So take the inspiration from Macy and head up into Lamoille Canyon as well. And then after that, come see us October 12th at 1 p.m. to make your cool spatter painting with the shape of leaves.
Nice. And I'm so glad you put in that plug for the beautiful Lamoille Canyon, our Ruby Mountains. It is an amazing time of year. We don't usually get kind of this ease into winter weather, usually a couple of weeks of fall, it feels like, but we have the most gorgeous autumn this year, so you can enjoy those colors.
Oh my gosh, I was not expecting it last week, and I think I took literally a million pictures because the yellows up there were gorgeous. Go up first thing in the morning when the sun is shining just from the sides, and the leaves practically glow. It's incredible.
It is.
But back to the California Trail Center. On October 13th, we've got our wonderful volunteer, Brenda, who's going to be leading some sewing. People are going to be able to make hats and mittens. We provide all of the thread and all of the material. We've got some adorable fleece and flannel already waiting for you there. And so that's October 13th at 1 p.m., our monthly sewing program with our incredible volunteer, Brenda. That will be hats and mittens. Bring the whole family. You can leave in matching outfits.
Oh, nice. Again, another great gift idea, and it's free. Mittens and hats just ready for the fall season. That's so cool, Cheryl.
Yeah, such a great idea, Lori. You're right. You're right on the gift-giving train. I love it.
I just think about that because it's always nice to receive something that someone made with their own hands. It's really, that's really thoughtful. All those little kid gifts, I think I still have every one that Lily ever made. So, and then speaking of kids, you're going to be featuring a story of a pioneer youngster.
Yeah, so this time we're going to read a story, Cassie's Journey, about a young pioneer girl, and then Ranger Glenn is going to lead a hike on our beautiful hiking trail, talk about pioneer history, talk about children, going across the trail, and then just enjoying the beautiful views. So this is a wonderful opportunity for families to come out October 19th at 1 p.m. That's a Saturday. Maybe bring a picnic lunch. Have your lunch. Join us for the story and the hike. And then you can spend the rest of the afternoon maybe looking at fall colors somewhere else too.
Oh, nice. And just keep in mind that landscape is pretty breathtaking. If you can just in your mind's eye erase the interstate and the train, you can actually think about what it was like for the pioneers and the first people too living in the area.
For sure. There were a lot of people out on this landscape before we were here today, and it's always really important to honor and think about those.
And you'll find a segment of that at the California Trail Center when you visit as well. And then you've got your ongoing bows and throws.
Of course, all of those community members that like to throw sharp things or fling sharp things, we are going to have that going on October 6th and October 20th. So twice in October, we'll have bows and throws, and they'll alternate between archery, atlatl, axe, and knife throwing. So you'll just have to show up to see what type of sharp object they will be hurdling that day. But we'd love to have you out. It's always a lot of fun. It starts at 1 p.m. You don't need to sign up. It runs for a couple of hours. Bring your family, and just please remember that you have to be 8 years or older to throw sharp objects. Right, Clint? We ran that by you. That was, I don't know. I think he approved that age.
I did. I think that's an appropriate age. I might have been a little bit younger, but it's all right.
Okay, all right. It's a different generation.
He was supervised by obviously responsible adults.
Oh, absolutely. I was left to my own devices a lot of times.
Yeah.
So.
Growing up in the 80s, the truth is coming out.
Yep, and being the baby. Awesome. So, Cheryl, and this brings us to, unless you're done talking about bows and throws, but dun, 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 you're so excited, and so are we, because I know you're excited about this event that Clint was alluding to. This is the Junior Ranger Day.
Yep, this is going to be on Saturday, October 26th, and it's going to be from noon until 3 p.m., so a 3-hour block there. It's going to be a Junior Ranger Day focusing on spooky nocturnal animals. Ranger Evie has a great afternoon planned, and I hear Clint may be bringing out some firefighters.
Yeah, that's the hope. We'll see how it goes. I'm pretty optimistic that we'll be able to have some guys out there, so I think it'll be fun for them to be able to interact with the public at such a diverse event compared to what we normally do, so I look forward to the opportunity.
All right, so all of you guys out there recreating in the next 3 weeks, we need you to be really careful with fire, because we want the firefighters out at the California Trail Center interacting with the public, doing some fun activities. We have some really cool firefighter books that if you do the book, you get a cool little smoky badge. So we've got some cool stuff going on. So the Junior Ranger Day, we're going to have firefighters, we're going to have animals, our hiking trail will be open. And what I'm thinking would be amazing is bring your family, bring a picnic, spend the afternoon. We're going to end the afternoon with a big Junior Ranger swearing in event. Everyone will get a Junior Ranger wooden badge. We'll take a big group photo. They'll all be sworn in by Ranger Evie, and when they leave at 3 o'clock, they'll all be official Junior Rangers. So we hope that you all come out, and we're hoping to do more of these days open to the public. We're going to have craft tables, we're going to have interactive tables, education tables, posters, all kinds of fun stuff. So bring out the family. You can go through all the tables and activities at your own pace, and then again, 3 p.m., we'll do the big swear-in, a big group photo, all of that fun stuff.
Amazing. That is Saturday, October 26th from noon to 3 p.m. at the California Trail Interpretive Center. Again, free admission and featuring nocturnal animals. So maybe when you've gone out camping and you've heard something in the bushes, but you didn't know what it was, you might learn what it is at this event.
Exactly, and what all those little critters are doing out there at night. When you hear the spooky noises, it makes it a little less spooky if you know what they're out there doing. So we're hoping to solve some of those mysteries and help people feel a little bit safer at night and a little closer to this incredible ecosystem that we call the Great Basin.
Oh, Cheryl, thank you. Cheryl Miller from California Trail Interpretive Center. And if any of you listening feel even half as passionate as Cheryl does and her crew at the Trail Center, you're searching for volunteers who also care about these things.
Oh my gosh, always. Looking for volunteers to help us up at the front desk, help us with hands-on crafts and programs. So right now, if you were free on the 26th, you could help us run a craft or an activity. We're also looking for folks to help us outside. If you like to work outside, work on trails, things like that. We'd love to have people help us. Also, we are just kicking off the field trip season. So we are going to have tons of field trips in every single week. If you like to work with kids, come on out, volunteer with us, and we'll have you help us with one of the stations. We have wonderful volunteers that help us every week and really help us get more out of the programs and help us offer more programs. And honestly, they inspire us. The volunteers keep us on track. They keep us inspired. They bring in new ideas. And so they're some of our favorite people in the center, because without them, sometimes it would get a little boring, honestly. So come on in, bring your energy, bring your ideas. We would love to have you.
Cheryl, thank you so much again for the call for volunteers, for the deep appreciation for your new community and home, and for diving right in and creating this new interactive exhibit, a Pioneer display, a chance to go shopping as if you were headed out on the Pioneer Trail, to try on some Pioneer clothing. This is all stuff that people really love, especially young people, and at the same time, they're learning about our beloved history.
Exactly. We always trick you into learning just a little bit. Even Clint, we're going to trick you into learning when you come out as well.
I thought he knew everything.
I think he does about fire. We're going to test his history knowledge, though.
All right. Sounds good. All right, Clint. That sounds awesome. He's really turning red now because we're, if you could see, if it were radio. So
I wasn't going to say that, Lori, but you're
okay.
so...
That's right. That's all right. Oh, well, Clint and Cheryl, both, you are such wonderful ambassadors for the Elko District BLM. We really appreciate you coming on the radio. All the things that the BLM is busy, hard at work. This is the season. It's fire season. It's holiday season. Things are really ramping up, but you always make it so enjoyable. So thank you, Clint. Anything else in closing today, or?
No, just maybe a reiteration to all the hunters and recreators. Please be careful out there. Yes, we are out of fire restrictions, but stay on roads. Put your fires out completely when you leave camp. And just have a good time.
All right, and have a successful hunt.
Absolutely.
All right, because you might be out hunting this time next month.
Possibly.
All right.
It's possible.
You may not come back, is what it sounds like.
I do feel at home when I'm out there.
Yes, you like it a lot. So awesome. He has lots of reasons to come home. So
yeah,
yes, thank you. And hunt safely and have a great time. I hope you have a successful harvest. Clint Mothershed. Yes. And Cheryl, thank you so much. Again, we'll see you at the California Trail Interpretive Center this season. Just remember, the new hours closed on Monday and Tuesday. All right. Thank you, listeners, for joining us for another edition of Elko Live here on KELK. We appreciate you.